Question 1 says Taj is 3 whole number 104 years old. Work out her age in months. So it's basically 3 years plus 104 years. So 104 is basically 0.25. So if we do 0.25 times 12, that gives us 3 months. And for 3 years, we do 3 times 12. That's 36 months. So in total, it's 36 plus 3, just 39. So that's 39. So in months, his age is 39. Then question 2 says Diff has $25 to buy some cups which cost $4.25 each. Calculate the maximum number of cups he can buy and the change he receives. So we're going to divide 25 by 4.25, which is going to give us 5.88. So now they want to know the maximum number of cups he can buy. So maximum number of cups is going to be 5 cups. Because 5.8, it cannot be rounded up to 6. So 5 cups is the maximum number of cups. And now for the change that he would get. So since 1 cup costs 4.25, 5 cups will cost 5 times 4.25, which is going to give us $21.25. So the change is going to be 25 minus 21.25, which is equal to $3.75. That is the change that he receives. Question 3 says measure angle A. So for this, what you would do is the center of the protractor at this point, and from your horizontal line at the bottom, you would start measuring till the point where the line lies on the protractor. So it's going to be acute angle. It's probably something around 30 since I can't measure this online. So I'm just going to tell you, just put it at the center. So you just put the vertex A at the center of the protractor and you measure the angle from the lower horizontal line towards the line where the angle finishes. So somewhere less than 40, I think that's the angle. Question 4 says, from this list, write down the number that is a multiple of 13. So multiple of 13 is going to be 39 because 13 times 3 is 39. Then a factor of 140. A factor of 140 is going to be 35 because 140 divided by 35 is 4. Then the largest prime number over here is 37. Then divisible by an even cube number. So divisible by even cube number is 32 because 32 divided by 8 is 4 and 8 is a even cube number. 20% of 190, so 20 over 100 times 190, that is going to be 38. So these are your answers. Question 5 says a farmer plants tea trees each day. Write an expression for the number of trees he plants in D days. So tea trees are planted each day. So for D number of days, it's going to be T times D or TD. Because in one day, if you're planting T number of trees, then for D number of days, it's going to be D times T. The train has P passengers. X passengers get off the train and Y passengers get on the train. Write an expression for the number of passengers on the train now. So X are getting off, so P minus X, and then Y are getting on. So P minus X plus Y. Question 6 says Raj thinks of a negative number n He adds 10 to n and then multiplies by 5. The answer is 30. Work out the value of n. So he adds 10 to n and then times it by 5 to get a 30. So first we can divide the 30 by 5. So n plus 10 equals to 30 divided by 5, which is 6. So n is going to be 6 minus 10, and that's negative 4. That's your value of n. Then the diagram shows a straight line crossing a pair of parallel lines. Complete these statements. Angle A and angle blank are corresponding angles. So corresponding angles over here are C and E. Then D and F. And for A, the corresponding angle is G. Whereas for H, the corresponding angle is B. So in our case, since they're asking for the corresponding angle for A, that is going to be G. Then angle A and angle E are blank angles. So angle A and angle E are alternate angles. And remember, alternate angles are equal. There's a way for remembering these, like for example, for corresponding. It's like, for example, for corresponding, your parallel lines are making an F because you're focusing on these two angles. Then for alternate, it's making a Z because these are the angles. And then for co-interior, it's making a C because your angles are on the inside. And vertically opposite was an X. And vertically opposite was an X because they're like this. So you can remember this. So you can learn this to remember which type of angle is in the parallel lines. You can just highlight the, angle that they're focusing on and then identify if it's a corresponding, alternate, interior, or vertically opposite. Next question says these are the first 4 terms of a sequence: 31, 24, 17, 10. Write on the term-to-term rule for continuing this sequence. So let's see if there's a common difference between the terms. If we do 31 minus 24, that's going to give us 7. Then 24 minus 17 is also 7, and 17 minus 10 is also 7. So as you can see, we're subtracting 7 from each consecutive term. So subtracting 7 is our term-to-term rule. Then it says find the next 2 terms in the sequence. So we do 10 minus 7, which is 3. And then we do 3 minus 7, which is negative 4. So the next 2 terms are 3 and negative 4. Then find the nth term. So for the nth term, first what we do is we find the common difference. As you can see, the common difference was negative 7 because we're subtracting 7 from each consecutive term. So what you do is you start with multiplying the common difference with n. So we assume that the nth term is negative 7n. Now, if we use this as the nth term, the first term would be negative 7 times 1, which is negative 7. So now we can see that 31 is not the same as negative 7. So to make this 31, what we need to do is we need to add 38. So if we add 38 to this, that gives us a 31. So now let's use this as the nth term, negative 7n plus 38. Third term would be negative 7 times 3 plus 38, which is negative 21 plus 38. Now, as you can see, that is 17. which is exactly what's given the question. So our nth term is negative 7n plus 38. Remember, for the nth term, first you find the common difference. Whatever the common difference is you multiply that by n, and then you assume that that is your nth term. And then you put n equals to 1 or n equals to 2 to see if you're getting the same term as given in the sequence. If you're not getting the same term, then you need to add or subtract something to see how you will get that same term. And then again, you use that new formula to see if that works for all of the terms. And with that, you will have your nth term for the sequence. Then question 9 says a cuboid measures 3 centimeters by 7 centimeters and by 11 centimeters. Calculate the surface area of the cuboid. So for the surface area of a cuboid, if I roughly sketch this over here, basically this is your cuboid. So this is 3, this is 7, this is 11. These are your measurements. So we have two faces which are 3 by 7. So 2 times 3 by 7 plus two faces which are 7 by 11. So 2 times 7 times 11 and two faces which are 3 times 11. So that's going to be 21 times 2, 42. 77 times 2, 154. And 2 times 33, which is 66. So then we add it up. That's 262 centimeters square. That's your surface area of the cuboid. Question 10 says the table shows an ordered stem and leaf diagram. A, B, and C are missing numbers. For the 10 numbers, the range is 27, the median is 16, and the mean is 16.5. Work out the values of A, B, and C. So if the range is 27, 27 is your maximum value minus the minimum value. So minimum value is 2 and maximum is given as something. So if I write maximum over here, minus 2, so 27 plus 2 is our maximum value, which is 29. So that means C is going to be 9 because the tens are already given on the left-hand side. Then the median is 16. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 numbers. So the median one is going to be the middle of the 5th and the 6th number. So median is 16. So 16 equals to x plus 17 divided by 2. I'm taking the 5th number as x. And then once I have the value of x, I will be able to figure out what b is. So we do 16 times 2 equals to x plus 17, which is going to be 32. And then we do 32 minus 17, which is equal to 15. So that means B is equal to 5. Let me just highlight these. C is 9, B is 5. Once again, when we have an even value data set, like the number of values are like, are even in number. So then you find the two values that are right in the middle of the data set, which in our case was the B and the 17. You find the average of those because the median value is going to be right in the middle of the B and 17. If it was an odd number data set, then you would just pick the value that's right in the middle of the data set. Now, lastly, A. So the mean is 16.5. So we already have the value of B and C. Mean is the sum of all the values divided by the total number of values. So that's 2 plus A plus 11 plus 13 plus 15 plus 17 plus 20 plus 24 plus 26 and plus 29 divided by 10 because that is the total number of values. Now that's 16.5 equals to 2 plus 11 plus 13 plus 15 plus 17 plus 20 plus 24 plus 26 and plus 29. That's 157 plus A divided by 10. Cross multiply. 165 equals to 157 plus A. 165 minus 157 equals to A. And that is going to give us 8. So A is going to be 8. I'm just going to write that over here. So as you can see, C is 9, B is 5, A is 8. Remember, when you're trying to find these values, the total number is 29 for the highest value. Then it's 15. Even though B is 5, but the total number is 15. And A is just 8. So you have to be very careful in this. It's not that hard. But like one minor mistake will like make everything wrong for this one. Then it says complete the statement. There is no mode because no value is occurring more than once. Mode is basically that value that occurs like, the most, like it has the highest frequency. And in our values, if we go back to the stem and leaf diagram, we can see that no value is being repeated. Every value is different. There's 2, 8, 11, 13, 15, 17, 20, 24, 26, and 29. All of them are different. So then the next question says the scale drawing shows the position of two lighthouses P and Q. The scale is 1 centimeter represents 0.8 kilometers. Find the actual distance between P and Q. So for this, what you would do is first you would connect the point P and Q with a line. You will draw this line using a ruler. Then you will measure this line. Whatever the distance of this line is, you will times that by 0.8 to get the actual distance. So let's say it's 7 centimeters, let's say, I'm assuming, because once again, I can't measure it online. So we do 7 times 0.8, which is going to be 5.6 kilometers. So based on my assumption, this will be your actual distance for the line connecting P and Q. Then it says measure the bearing of Q from P. So what you would do is you would measure this angle using your protractor. And remember in bearing, where it says from, the point where you have to measure it from, you will start measuring the angle from over there. You start measuring from the north towards the line that connects the 2 points. And you will always write your bearing as a 3-digit number, not a 2-digit or 1-digit. In this case, it's obviously greater than 90. So I'm assuming it's like 103 or something. Once again, I'm assuming, but like you will accurately measure it using your protractor. You cannot assume the values like I'm doing right now. Then it says a boat B is on a bearing of 127 degrees from P. Calculate the bearing of P from B. So if a boat is on a bearing of 127 degrees from P, that means it's going to be somewhere over here. You will, however, make this line using your protractor. You will put the protractor at point P and measure where 127 degrees is. So it's going to be somewhere over here. So this is point B. They want us to find the bearing of P from B. So to find the bearing of P from B, what we will do is we will make the compass at B first, and we will start measuring the angle from the north towards the line that connects P and B. So this is the entire angle that we need. So if you notice, the north at P and the north at B, they're parallel. So in parallel lines, alternate angles are equal. This 127 is the same as this 127 because they're alternate angles. So that means the bearing of P from B will be 127 plus 180 degrees. So we just do 127 plus 180, which is going to give us 307 degrees. That is the bearing of P from B. Question 12 says, Mo asked some people if they prefer sun, rain, or wind. The pie chart shows the results. 45 more people prefer wind than rain. Work out how many people prefer sun. So first, let's begin with finding the angle for sun. For sun, it's going to be 360 minus 80 minus 95 is going to give us 185 degrees. Now, they told us that 45 more people prefer wind than rain. So since 45 more people prefer wind than rain, that means if we do 95 minus 80 over 360 times the total, that's going to equal to 45. So this 45 people will be the angle, that is the difference between the 95 angle, which is for wind, and the 80 angle, which is the rain. Because 45 more people prefer wind than rain. So when you find the difference of the two angles, and divide by 360 times by the total, that gives us the 45 people. So that's basically 15 over 360 times the total, which is 45. So we know 15 and 360 can be simplified. That's going to be 24. So 1 over 24 times the total equals to 45. So total number of people would be 45 times 24, and that gives us 1,080 people. So that's the total number of people. Now they want to find how many people prefer sun. So sun would be 185 divided by 360 times 1,080, which is the total number of people. So 185 divided by 360 times 1,080 is going to be 555 people. That is the number of people that prefer the sun. Question 13 says, Z changes $2,000 into krona. $1 is 0.615 euros and 1 krona is 0.087 euros. Use the exchange rates to calculate how many krona she receives, giving answer correct to the nearest krona. So let's convert the $2,000 into euros. 2,000 times 0.615 is going to give us 1,230 euros. Then 1 krona is 0.087 euros. So 1 euro is going to be 1 over 0.087 krona. So now for 1230 euros, we will divide 1230 by 0.087, and that is going to give us 14,137.98 krona. Give your answer correct to the nearest krona, so that's going to be 14,138 krona. That's the value correct to the nearest krona. Question 14 says factorize 8x squared minus 2x. So what we need to do over here, we need to see what is the highest common factor between 8x squared and 2x. We know that 8 is 4 times 2, and the x squared is x times x. 2x is 2 times x. So highest common factor over here is the x and a 2. So whatever the highest common factor is, you take that common outside. So 2x, and whatever is left behind comes in the bracket. So that's going to be 4x minus 1. So your factorized version is 2x bracket 4x minus 1. Then it says expand the brackets and simplify. So 5 gets multiplied with both the terms inside the bracket. And same goes for 3, it gets multiplied with both the terms inside the bracket. So 5 times 2m plus 5 times negative m plus 3 times m plus 3 times 7. So that's 10m minus 5 plus 3m plus 21. So 10m plus 3m is 13m, and minus 5 plus 21 is 16. So 13m plus 16 is your answer. Then question 15 says a car travels 95 kilometers in 2 hours and 15 minutes. Calculate the average speed of the car in kilometers per hour. So we have to convert the time in just hours, not hours and minutes. So 15 minutes in hours is going to be 15 divided by 60, which is going to give us 0.25 hours. So average speed will be distance, which is 95, divided by the time, which is 2.25, because 2 hours and 15 minutes in hours is going to be 2.25 hours. So we do 95 divided by 2.25, which gives us 42.2 recurring. Then part B says convert 8 meters per second into kilometers per hour. So we'll do 8 times 3600 divided by 1000. So that's 8 times 3.6, which equals to 28.8 kilometers per hour. That's your speed in kilometers per hour. Question 16 says, she shares for $80 in the ratio 2:3:7. Calculate the value of the largest share. So largest share is going to be 7/12 times 480. When you're trying to find something's share from a ratio, you make a fraction where the numerator is the value that represents that thing in the ratio, which is 7, because that's the largest share. And the denominator is the sum of the values in the ratio. So 2 plus 3 plus 7 is 12. And 7/12 of the total sum gives us the largest share. So that's going to be 7 times 40, which is 280. So $280 shows us the largest share for G. And part B says simplify these ratios. So remember, ratios can be rewritten as fractions. So 98/147 is the fraction that we're trying to simplify over here. So both 98 and 47 are divisible by 7. 14 times 7 is 98, and 21 times 7 is 147. 7 gets cancelled out. 14 and 21 also are divisible by 7, so that's going to be 2/3. So this is the simplified ratio. Then 2 to the power of 450 ratio 2 to the power of 452. So 2 to the power of 450 over 2 to the power of 452. Whenever we have similar bases being divided, we subtract the powers. So 2 is the similar base being divided. So it's going to be 1/2 to the power of 450 minus 440, which is 1/2 square. which is 1/4. So 1:4 is the simplified ratio. Remember, the ratio can be rewritten as a fraction. So when we rewrite this as a fraction, we can see that we have similar bases being divided. Since the similar bases are being divided, we subtract the powers, and that gives us 1/2 square, which is 1/4. Then question 17 says solve x/3 equals to 18. So for this, to find the value of x, we're going to cross multiply. So x is going to be 18 times 3, which is going to give us 54. Then 6 to the power of 9 divided by 6 to the power of y equals to 6 to the power of 11. Same thing as question 16. When we have similar bases being divided, we subtract the powers. So 6 to the power of 9 minus y equals to 6 to the power of 11. Whenever we have similar bases existing independently on both sides of the equal to sign, we can put the powers equal to each other. So 9 minus y equals to 11. 9 minus 11 equals to y, which is -2. So y is -2. Then simplify a to the power of 6 times b to the power of -2 divided by a to the power of 4 times b to the power of 3. Same rule again, similar bases being divided, we subtract the powers. So a to the power of 6 minus 4 times b to the power of -2 minus 3. That gives us a square times b to the power of -5. It's always advised to give the index in, as a positive power, not like a negative. So we can rewrite this as a squared over b to the power of 5. That is a simplified answer. Next question says, Claire invests $12,000 for 3 years at a rate of 8% per year compound interest. Calculate the value for investment at the end of 3 years, giving the answer correct to the nearest $10. So compound interest has the formula of principal amount, which is 12,000 times 1 plus r/100, so that's 8/100 to the power of 3. So that's 1 plus 0.08 to the power of 3 times 12,000, which is equal to 15,116.544 Give your answer correct to the nearest $10. The nearest $10 is going to be 15,120. That's your answer correct to the nearest $10. And part B says Zach invests $560 for 1 year. After 1 year, his investment is worth $630. Calculate the percentage increase. So percentage increase is going to be new amount minus the old amount divided by the old amount times 100. So we do 630 minus 560, which equals to 70. 70 over 560 times 100. The zeros get cancelled out. 7 over 156 is 1/8. So basically doing 100 divided by 8, which gives us 12.5%. That is your percentage increase. Question 19 says write 2025 as the product of its prime factors. So we're going to break down 2025. So we know 2025 is divisible by 5. It must be divisible by 25 as well. So if we divide that by 25, we get 81. So that's 25 over here and 81 over here. 25 is 5 times 5. 81 is 9 times 9, which breaks down to 3 times 3. So the product of the prime factors are 3 to the power of 4 because we have 4 3s times 5 squared because we have 2 5s. So just remember, you have to break down the number into its prime factors. You just keep breaking the number down until you reach prime numbers. Then it says, write 2025 is a product of 2 square numbers that are both greater than 1. So 2 square numbers that are both greater than 1. So that was 3 to the power 4 times 5 square. So 3 to the power 4 is 81 and 5 squared is 25. That's what they're asking us to do. We're showing 2025 as a product of two square numbers. 8 is 9 square and 25 is 5 square, and they're both greater than 1. Then it says the diagram shows three shapes A, B, and C on a 1 centimeter square grid. On the grid, draw the image of shape A after rotation of 90 degrees clockwise, center 0, 3. This is our center. So if it's rotating 90 degrees clockwise, it's going to look like this. This is your 90-degree rotation in clockwise direction about the center 0, 3. As you can see, this point had a horizontal distance of 2 units. Now it has a vertical distance of 2 units. This point remains the same, the one that's situated at 3. And for the other point, this was 2 units horizontally, 1 vertically. Now it's 2 vertically, 1 horizontally. So as you would know, when you're rotating 90 degrees, clockwise or anti-clockwise, whatever the horizontal and vertical distance is of a point from the center of rotation, for the rotated image, we swap the distance. So if it's 2 horizontally and 1 vertically from the center, for the rotated, it becomes 2 vertically and 1 horizontally from the center. So the same thing happened over here. This point became this point, and this point is this point now. Then it says describe fully the single transformation that maps shape A onto shape B. Shape A onto shape B is a clear case of translation because we move the shape 2 units to the left and 1 unit down. So translation by vector 2 units to the right and 1 unit down. So 2, -1 is the translation vector. Then second part says shape A onto shape C. So shape A onto shape C is clearly an enlargement. And the enlargement is being done by a scale factor of 2. Because if we compare corresponding lengths, this one is 1 unit and the enlarged one is 2 units. This is 4 and originally it's 2. So scale factor is 2. Now we need to figure out the center of enlargement. For the center of enlargement, what we're going to do is we're going to join corresponding points and wherever all of these lines intersect, that's going to be our center of enlargement. So, okay, this. And this is for this. So our center of enlargement, because this is the same line for them, center of enlargement is 5, 3. So if I draw this again, actually. Yep. Center of enlargement is 5, 3. And scale factor is 2. So this is the transformation that shapes A onto C. Enlargement by scale factor of 2 about the center 5, 3. Then calculate the size of the smallest angle in triangle C. So size of the smallest angle in triangle C is going to be, so smallest angle in triangle C is this one. We know this is 4 units, like this distance, and this is 2 units. This is a 90 degree. So we can easily use tangent. Tan theta equals to opposite, which is 2, adjacent, which is 4. So theta equals to tan inverse of 2 over 4, which is also 1 over 2. And that's going to give us 26.6 degrees. That is the measurement of the smallest angle in triangle C. That's your answer. Next question says that show that the sum of the interior angles of a pentagon is 540. So a pentagon has 5 sides. So sum of interior angles basically has the formula of n minus 2 times 180. And if you're trying to find the measurement of one angle, you divide this formula by n. So n over here is 5. So 5 minus 2 times 180, which is 3 times 180. And that's equal to 540 degrees, which is what they were asking us to prove. Then it says, in this part, all angles are in degrees. The diagram shows the 5 interior angles for pentagon written in terms of x. Write down an expression in terms of x for the sum of the interior angles of pentagon. Then give your answer in its simplest form. So they want us to create an expression in terms of x in the simplest form. So we know that sum of interior angles is 540. So 540 for the pentagon would equal to x plus 35 plus 3x minus 25 plus 3x minus 5 plus x plus 40 and then plus 2x. Combine all the like terms. So there's 1, 3, 3, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 x's. And for the numbers 35 minus 25 is 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 plus 40 is 45. So 45. This is our expression in its simplest form. Then write in the value of x. So we're going to solve this. So 540 equals to 10x plus 45. 540 minus 45 equals to 10x. So that's 495. So 495 divided by 10 equals to x, which is going to be 49.5. That is the value of x.